turn or come closer, whatever you want to do about that.
Everybody come around. If we can get a few people with signs right back over here. How's the sound on that? Can we get a thumbs up? Okay. So welcome everybody. My name is Abe Bonowitz with Death Penalty Action, and we're live streaming to the Facebook, the Death Penalty Action and the Terre Haute Death Penalty Resistance Facebook page. For the people that are watching on the live stream and also on Zoom, for people that are watching, we're here at Terre Haute across the street from the federal prison complex where the execution may happen if it goes forward. And there's, I would say, about 36 people that are here. We're purposely being, safely spaced out. We're masked, most of us, except for I'm speaking, but we have a few people that wanted to share, and we have some time because there's another emergency motion to the U.S. Supreme Court asking the court to consider that if Corey Johnson is executed, he'll be the first person executed who has not had, the first person executed who's got an intellectual deficiency, who has not had an evidentiary hearing to evaluate that. And I'm sure there's more interpretation that we can hear about from some of the attorneys that are here regarding that, but at the end of the day, that's what's happening, so it's going to be a little while longer. Hopefully we'll get relief and there'll be no execution. As we all know, though, the other night it was just after midnight before the stay was lifted, and then another hour and some minutes before the execution took place. So we know how this goes. We know how it could go, and it can go good and it can go bad. So I want to welcome and invite Sylvester Edwards to come up. He is the president of the NAACP chapter here in Terre Haute and a member of the Terre Haute Death Penalty Resistance. And there's a number of people that are here that have things to say, and I just want to invite everybody to be brief and concise and introduce yourselves for the people that are listening online and say what you got to say.
Thank you, Abe. I'm Sylvester Edwards, the president of the Greene, Terre Haute branch of the NAACP. Again, we're here. From the first time I was here in July, it seemed as though it was a lifetime. And each and every time that we get here and join all of our abolitionists, we are brothers and sisters in this cause. We have not yet stopped anything, but what we're here is to let the rest of our nation know killing people does not work. All life is precious. Whether it's black lives, blue lives, white lives, all life is precious. We will continue to be here and fight for the cause. I thank Abe and Ashley and the rest, and especially up there, Bill, for being a friend and brought me into this movement. I thank you for being here. As I said, we will not stop. The cause is heroic. It's something that has to be done, because if we don't do it, no one will. I thank you again for being here.
So hello, you already know I told you I'm Sister Barbara. I'm also here as a member of the Interfaith Council of the Wabash Valley. We're the ones with the sign that say execute justice, not people, and the banner with all the various faith traditions and humanist tradition symbols. And I think, are you all getting the sign to do some kind of staging. Yeah, great. You know, because that's part of why we're here. We're here to send a message that our government has to quit doing this. And even if Corey's life is not spared tonight, we're still going to be successful eventually in abolishing the death penalty. We lobby Congress, we call our own senators and representatives, we do what we can. And one of the things we can do is being out here on the street corner. So I want to say, or proclaim, if you will, a poem. It's called Timber. Some of you have probably read and prayed with this. This poem was written by Will LaCroix. William LaCroix was executed in September. I was with him in the death chamber that day. I've already told you our dear friend Bill is over there with Corey right now. So I'm just going to let this poem speak for itself. And Will wrote this in 2011. Timber. From this barred window, browning at the edge of a grass field. Okay, I'm going to interrupt. It's that window over there in that building that we can see right now across the street. From this barred window, browning at the edge of a grass field, I behold those crooked pines, lines of sap oozing freely down the barkless spots on their trunks. Perhaps weeping, remembering a time in youth when they were green. Orange bands, bright like nooses, strangle them, condemn them. No longer part of the living ecosystem, different somehow. Infested, an eyesore, or carriers of fungus or death rot contagion. They are marked for death, quarantined, anxiously awaiting their executioners. Do they contemplate that fate? Are they conscious, struggling to breathe, senses a twitter, ever vigilant, listening for the thwack of looming axes, whose vibrations tremble every dry brown needle? And when they have joined the fallen, paralyzed and prone on the forest floor, lingering in death unbeknownst to others, to be hacked in pieces and hauled off, do they scream sharply when heaped upon the pyre, finally consumed, just ashes, dead and gone? Will there be something more for them than numbing oblivion, finality? Is there some place eternal, fertile, beside a tranquil river with lots of sunshine, waiting to greet the roots of their spirit? Or can they focus only upon the culling, coming along today, or tomorrow, or the next, to all living things eventually, even the men here on death row? Isolated, graying, dying like those pines. Perhaps they are resigned in knowing that much too soon, to even the mighty, something comes along to cut us all down. And maybe they dread only the arbitrary waiting. Next up is Ashley.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Kincaid Eve, and this is the 12th time that I have been in Terre Haute. Like many of the times before, including the first time, we've been here until all hours of the night. Just this week we were here till after midnight. As far as Corey, we don't know what's going to happen. We're entering into this familiar, what I call dance with death, where the courts go back and forth of this will they or won't they kill another human being. Where our justices are staying up until 1, 2 in the morning just to decide that somebody should die. Because somehow in America right now, that's the important people's business. Reports were just published about how much money has been spent on this, and I can't even remember. It was in millions. It's ridiculous how much our government right now wants to kill. I wish I could say I have hope, but honestly I'm tired. And after standing outside of here for 11 executions, I've come to the conclusion that no one is going to survive a date with death, at least not with Trump's killing administration and not with these courts. What's important right now is for people to realize that if we want this to end, we have to educate people. We have to educate legislators. It's we the people that's going to end this. Acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen warned us after Daniel Lewis was strapped to the gurney for 4 hours until he was executed at 8 a.m. after an all-night dance with death. If you want to save your clients, you have to go to the people. You have to go to the legislature. Justice Scalia said the same thing. And when President Trump was elected, it cemented that as long with these courts, they're not going to have mercy. Regardless of the constitutional issues, regardless of the law, they will find whatever reason they can to allow these executions to go forward. So please just remember, our fight does not end Friday. Our fight doesn't end with the election of President-elect Joe Biden. It's a moment for celebration because these federal executions will end. We will no longer be gathering here in Terre Haute. And for the first time in the history of this country, we will have a president who has vowed to work to abolish the federal death penalty. But we have to make sure he actually does it. We have to make sure that Congress delivers. Because if not, we might see another killing spree like this again. And we have to hold President-elect Joe Biden accountable for the horrendous appellate laws that have allowed these unjust killings to go forward, but also allow for the incarceration of innocent people everywhere in America. Our system is broken, and it just starts with the death penalty. And I also want people to realize, January 21st, the day after President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, there's an execution scheduled in Texas. I believe it's his name, but there's an execution on January 21st in Texas. And Texas has plenty of executions scheduled. Other states are trying to revamp the death penalty. So we have to make sure that we keep the focus on the states. The reason people aren't aware of the death penalty is because we kill under the cover of darkness. And it's really easy to do when the executions are carried out by the state because it's considered a state's issue, so national media and other states aren't covering it. But when your country allows killing in your name, in any citizen's name, it's always national news. So keep the fight, keep going, rest up, recharge, keep hoping, because even if it seems dark, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you. And speaking of Texas, and some momentum shifting, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce my dear friend, Roger Greene, who is currently fighting for his innocent brother in Texas. And that's a case you definitely need to get immediately involved in because it could save an innocent man. Roger?
Thank you. As you stated, my name is Roger Greene. I'm the brother of Rodney Reed, an innocent man on Texas death row. My brother has been on death row for 23 years now for a crime he didn't commit. He was convicted of the murder of Stacy Stites, a girl who he was seeing, and at the same time, she was also seeing a Giddings police officer by the name of Jimmy Fennell. Long story short, Jimmy Fennell, in our opinion, killed Stacy Stites and set Rodney up for the murder. There's DNA evidence that's still yet to be tested in this case. There's witnesses still yet to be called. There's medical and forensic evidence that has not been admitted into the courts that proves the time of death of Stacy Stites, that proves my brother did not commit those murders. There's countless things that's going on in this case that makes my brother like the poster child as to the reason why we should stop federal and sanctioned killings and murders. You know, it's a prime example. You have, Dustin Higgs, who's scheduled to be executed tomorrow as well. A person that did not do no murder at all, you know, but yet he is facing execution tomorrow. The person that did the actual murders in that case wrote a statement admitting that he did it and that Dustin had nothing to do with it. He did not coerce him or encourage him in any manner. But yet Dustin is still scheduled to die, and he took no life. That doesn't make sense. You have Billy Allen with all kind of forensic evidence and stuff that proves that he's not the killer. There are 1,000 other Rodney Reeds, Billy Allens, and Dustin Higgs out there. And we have got to stand up against this racist, inhumane death penalty. And that's exactly what it is. We got to stand up, speak out, and come together. And there are countless more, and there's a lot of other families that's going through the same thing that I'm going through, and my prayers are with you. My prayers are with all the families of people that are on death row, because we're here not to just save one life, but to abolish the death penalty as a whole. And with that, I am going to introduce a good friend of mine, Mr. Charles Keith, who also has a brother that was previously on death row. Mr. Keith.
Thanks, Roderick. My name is Charles Keith. I'm the brother of ex-death row inmate Kevin Keith, who is also an innocent man. I've been fighting this fight for 28 years. They took Kevin off of death row based on an innocence claim in 2010. The governor then, Ted Strickland, the parole board voted 8-0 to execute. This is the first case in the history of Ohio that the governor has gone against his parole board. I fought emphatically. I would not wish this on anyone. I talked to my brother, I told him what I was doing. He says, Charles, carry my spirit with you everywhere you go, and you fight. So that's what brings me here from Canton, Ohio. I'm not here to talk about my brother. My brother's not on death row right now, that's a different fight. But myself and my brother's spirit is down here to support those others. Just because mine is not as dire as theirs, that does not mean I don't continue my journey. So I'm here for them. And I'll always be here. And wherever we go, I'll be there too. Thank you.